I'm Andrew Phillips.
I'm Jack Kemmerzell.
And welcome to the Underground. Welcome to the premiere episode of The Underground. Jack and I haven't done one of these probably for over 25 years. The last time we did these was during the times of VHS tapes, and we actually did several of them back then. But also what has changed since then is you have the whole political correctness thing going on now. So the old ones, we didn't have all the restrictions with that, so we were able to speak a little more freely. So we got to keep that in mind with this one going forward. So just kind of wanted to kick it off for this 2021 year, add it to this channel here on Phillips Vision, and hopefully be able to do a few of them this year, or maybe even do more. We're here actually at Jack's place here, which is actually a really cool setting for it. He has this kind of studio man cave area right here that we're able to shoot it at here in Pennsylvania. So that's where we are, Jack. So thank you for kind of hosting it here. But we hope you guys enjoy it. We're just going to kind of be talking about just kind of the current situations going on, whether it be in the political realm, music, movies, all that stuff. And just kind of an open forum, just kind of having fun and just kind of enjoying our time together.
Yeah.
You want to say anything, Jack?
No, said it all.
Really? Okay.
No, it's good to have like the old show back, and hopefully we can figure out enough to keep you all entertained to make sure you keep subscribing to Phillips Vision.
Yeah. Yep, and it's fun to have a platform such as YouTube to be able to do this on, because like I said, back in the day it was just on VHS, so you didn't have the whole social media. I don't even think you had the internet back then when we had it. I don't even think the internet was even out yet. So definitely going to have some fun times here, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
All right.
Are you someone who struggles with weight loss? Maybe you've tried all the different exercise programs with no success. Well, let's hear from Jack what worked for him to be able to lose so much weight in such a short time.
So you want to know what my secret was to losing all that weight? I got divorced and instantly lost 145 pounds and got my self-esteem and money back. You can too. Ditch that extra weight and live.
All right, well that was quite a nice hairstyle. Anyway, so any movies lately you've seen?
Any movies lately I've seen?
Hold on, let me rephrase that. Any good movies you've seen lately?
Let's see, the last movie I saw in the theater was actually The Empire Strikes Back when it came out as a re-release for the 40th
Oh, I
anniversary.
thought you meant the original. I was like, it was 1980.
Well, it might have been the last time there was any good movies. Before that, I think, ironically enough, was The Rise of Skywalker, which was like a dumpster fire. So Empire Strikes Back, to see that in the theater after all those years, because obviously the last time I saw it, I was a kid.
Yeah.
Little, and then any other time's been on, whatever. But to see it in the theater with a good sound system and everything, I think they should do that more often. I think they should re-release the remastered versions of a lot of old movies, because what's coming out now is just
it's garbage. And they're either trying to remake old storylines and doing a terrible job, or they're just crappy scripts and stuff.
Right, or they realize they did something. Sorry, we had an invader.
Had a cat trying to scratch the inside of my guitar case, so I apologize for the interruption there.
Yeah, it's like anything anymore is just a rehash of something else, and then they want to hey, let's take something and let's change the characters to be more progressive or more whatever, because that'll make it better. It doesn't.
Or they're taking old movies and they're changing the script a little bit to kind of fit more the social issues and political correctness and all that stuff, and it's just butchering up the storylines and screwing up the original movie anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously with everything that's gone on this year, a lot of things have gone to streaming. So
yeah,
most people have just been like watching all that and trying to find good shows. Obviously, Mandalorian being one of the ones that we prefer.
Yeah. Which I thought that was a very good show. I thought it was very well written. The acting was good, and the cinematography. Just overall, I think Disney getting involved with the Star Wars saga, I think in general was a huge plus to kind of get it back on track.
Yeah, and I think they, as long as they don't go off the rails with it. So we know that they're going to have a bunch of spin-offs now. They're going to have the Rogue Squadron. They're going to have Ahsoka is going to have her own show, and then Boba Fett's going to have his own show. And they're going to keep going with the Mandalorian, and they're going to have some other stuff which can work as long as it's not overdone.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. They can't drain the story too much and then start getting cheesy with the storyline
Right.
on that.
Right, and they're even talking about now a possible like series of with the de-aged Luke Skywalker with the child.
With him as a CGI.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that. I don't know. That's a little risky.
I think that that's probably to try to establish the fact that since the Force Awakens and all those movies kind of just blasted right through the whole fact that he had a school for training, that maybe they're trying to establish that, okay, so he had the school for a while, and maybe just try to get a little bit more
Kind of elaborate.
retconning, as they call it, so going back and establishing a reason for things to have been the way they are, but that's going to be tough.
Mhm.
That's going to be tough, and I don't know how much of a CGI Mark Hamill.
Yeah. No, I mean, they were able to pull it off in, what was it, Rogue One, where they had Grand Moff Tarkin,
Yeah.
and Peter Cushing has been long gone for a while, so I think that was easier to pull off because we didn't really have a really good cross-reference outside of the original Star Wars movie and some of the old horror movies he was in.
Right.
But when you're dealing, well, even the Carrie Fisher at the end of Rogue One, I thought that looked good because that was a quick scene.
Sure.
But if they make it, I mean, it's almost just like like a magician. If you do the magic trick too much, people
Right.
catch on. So
Right.
I think they need to kind of keep it short and sweet. Otherwise, it's going to look cheesy.
Yeah. I think that that's what a lot of people worry about. It's like, oh, we can do it, but like in the old days before CGI and everything else, you just got a different actor. You found
Yeah.
somebody that was close. So
Yeah.
like a lot of people were saying, well, why didn't you just get somebody who looks like young Mark Hamill to play young Mark Hamill? And a lot of people looked at Sebastian Stan, who plays the Winter Soldier in the Marvel movies, that they showed him kind of like with the same hair and everything, and he looks a lot like Mark Hamill, and you
Mhm.
could have just done that. But I mean, some people, I guess, feel weird about, oh, that's not really Mark Hamill.
Yeah, but the only thing is, I mean, you're better off having a real person.
Right.
And I think Mark Hamill did play him anyway, and then they went over his
Yeah,
face.
they
So
did.
they did have him there, but
It's
I don't know, when he started conversing a little bit more
Right.
with Mando, it was like the expressions looked a little too computery. They didn't look real.
right, and I think that that's, if you're going to do a long-term series, that's going to be tough
Yeah.
to get that out. But I mean, overall, the series was good. I felt it continued on from the way the first season was. It had a good pacing. It did introduce a lot of other things, but all those things kind of tied up. I think that when they introduced Ahsoka in it, a little bit more could have been done with that, because I mean, basically she's a big draw for a lot of people. So that was like the whole thing was like, oh, Ahsoka's going to be in the Mandalorian. Oh, this is going to be great. And yeah, she's in one episode, and yes, that was pretty cool. Seeing
Yeah,
the
I thought that was
lightsabers
cool.
and
I
everything
thought it
else.
was cool.
And then it just kind of like sets it up.
Mhm.
She's looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Everyone was like, oh, he's going to be in the next episode. Nope, that's it. She set it up. On to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad when they brought the Court of the Owls, Court of the Owls, the Death Watch, Bo-Katan and her people.
Oh, yes.
They're the Owls. I just can't remember what the rest of the thing is, and how they brought that back together and used that. But other than that, I thought that pacing and everything was good.
Yeah, I did too. I thought and I thought that the script was good as well with that. So
Yeah. And honestly, that's the only series that I've watched. I know a lot of people people I work with watch other series, and I can't get into anything else personally.
I'm looking forward to the Boba Fett one, the Book
Yeah.
of Boba Fett, which they kind of gave a sneak
Yeah.
peek at the very end. That looks like that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I know that at least what I had heard originally before Mandalorian even came out was that I think that was one of the goals anyway, was to do a series about Boba Fett.
Right.
So-
Originally, it was going to be a movie, just like they were going to have a Kenobi movie and then a Boba Fett movie.
I'm thinking Darth Maul, wasn't there?
And they were going to try to tie Darth Maul into it, which is the reason he's at the end of Solo. But because Solo bombed so badly, they were like, I gotta come up with something else.
Mhm.
Because and then Disney was like, well, let's try this Mandalorian, as a Star Wars series, because it would be the first live-action Star Wars series.
Yeah, you're right.
And let's see how people like it. And everyone liked it because it was different. The first season was like there was no lightsabers or Jedi till the very last
Correct.
time when they showed the lightsaber, the dark saber, cutting him out of the top. Other than that, it was like a Western.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, yeah, that's it. That's the Star Wars we want to see. And they were like,
Well, because it kind of reminisced a lot back on the original 1977 A New Hope, with
Right.
kind of like the desert and more kind of that Mad Maxy kind of look.
Yeah. Yep. No, I thought it was good that way, but because the newer movies, nah, so much.
Yeah, they kind of deviated too much. And
Yeah.
I thought it was cool the way that they kind of tied into some of the original Star Wars. Like you still had the Stormtroopers, you had Luke obviously coming back at the end, you had, even though Ahsoka wasn't part of the movie, she was still part of that series with like
Yeah.
the animated series.
Yeah.
You had, there was some other stuff too. Well, I mean, even with the child, like a Yoda species, so there was some connection there.
Sure.
So it wasn't just kind of like its own thing
Yeah.
off to the side.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a good use of the Yoda species, the child.
Yeah, I
It's like
agree.
They knew that, hey, this is something that'll get people in, and it's also a good, unique character arc, because we've only ever seen one of these, and we need
Correct.
to figure it out and everything else, so. Now I'm just curious where they take the rest of it, so.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to it. I think at the end it said the Boba Fett series starts in December 2021. If the Mandalorian series continues, I think that usually starts, end of October, beginning of November or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk that they're going to coincide, so we'll see.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that'll be
they
cool.
might even do something like so like a lot of people know who watch the DC universe on regular TV. You have the Flash and the Arrow and other I can't remember the other show, but there's 3 shows and they're all DC, but they will also have episodes that
Where they cross
where
over.
They cross over.
Yeah.
They might end up getting into doing something like that because of the fact that the Book of Boba Fett will run congruent with the
Yeah.
Mandalorian, and then you might have some other stuff like when they have Rogue Squadron. Nobody knows if that's new or old, if it's going to be New Hope Star Wars or modern Star Wars, and then they have the other one that's coming out is the the character from Rogue One, the guy. Yeah, the guy that was going to kill her father and then changed his mind. I don't remember his name, but he's getting a series. He's getting a whole TV series. Yeah.
This isn't the guy who was the high-stake gambler, was it?
No. The guy that worked for the rebels, and in the very beginning he kills the one guy so he can get away. He's like, I can't go because of my leg, and he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Shoots him.
Man, I don't remember that.
I don't
need to
remember his
watch that.
name.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it
I
was a
love
good
that movie.
I
need
don't
to
remember
watch it
his
again.
name, and
It can't be the main guy because he dies.
now, well, they all die
Wait, then maybe it is the main guy.
in Rogue One.
You're talking about the main guy, and he kind of hooks up with the girl.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
can't remember his name.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Okay, but they're thinking about doing a series
Yeah,
about him.
he is going to get his own series.
Wow.
And for all those who want to correct us and remember his name, put it in the comments below.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, because I can't remember it either.
I can Google it, but I'm not going to. But yeah, so that was that, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I watched recently, movie-wise, that I hadn't seen.
Yeah, I haven't. To be honest, there hasn't been really that much that's kind of captured my attention that I can think of. Well, actually, the last movie that I saw was Ford versus Ferrari. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
movie.
I haven't seen it.
Very good movie based on a true story for I think it's Miles and Shelby. But that was a very good story also about the whole Ford and Ferrari race there on the Le Mans thing. So that was actually really cool. I actually took my dad to see that for his birthday with my mom, and then when it came back, when it started streaming, then Jennifer and the kids and I saw it again. But very good movie. I love that movie. Me being in the cars, I know you're in the cars too. That was a cool movie for the history, and just I thought it was very well done. I thought the acting was very good on that one. So highly recommend that as well.
I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, I have trouble like forcing myself to watch something new anymore. It's like
Yeah, it has to be something that when I see the
it's like-
preview, it's really captivating.
I get there and I'm like, is this gonna be? It's like, 'cause like what you're saying. It's like, is it more of the same? Is it just a rehash of something else? But obviously, being a true story, it's not. So that would be interesting to see. But as far as everything else goes, like I was funny because I was watching somebody else's review of the Wonder Woman 1984 that came out.
With Linda Carter? That's the only Wonder Woman I know of, except outside of these newer ones that are out now.
It is the new one.
Yeah.
So they had the one with Gal Gadot, and this is the sequel to the first one. The first one wasn't bad.
Which I heard I never saw it, but I heard that she played a good part.
Right, the first one is good. I like the first one. I mean, it's obviously kind of Captain America-esque with it's set in the war, but her story and her interactions and everything else, it's good. The second one, again, I didn't see it, and I won't, just to let you know, so you can put that in comments too, is that it just looks like another rehashing of something. It's like, oh, here's a person out of time who wants to learn something, and everyone's getting what they want because of a magic rock, and all this other stuff, and it's just like, it looked like what they showed just looked like whatever, and apparently it's done horrible in the box offices. It took over $200 million to make, and it's only made like 85.
Wow.
They released it so DC's doing this thing now where all the movies and everything that they will release on HBO Max at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a way to keep people in the streaming service and try to make more money, because they're like,
Yeah.
well, especially now, like where I'm at in Pennsylvania, the governor shut down movie theaters again.
Yeah, that's a joke. That's ridiculous.
So yeah, now
I mean, I'm fortunate because where I live in Delaware, they've shut down some stuff, but we still have the freedom to go out and eat and do other stuff.
Right.
Like we just went out to eat before we came here to film, and it's like you can't even go in anywhere except to get the food and then get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
You can't eat in there, which is ridiculous.
Now over the summer it was, we had, obviously the original shutdown, and then we had the, a little bit of leniency of 50% capacity, and that's how I was able to sneak in there and see Empire Strikes Back. And that was the only thing the movie theaters were showing were a lot of retro movies.
Mm-hmm. That actually would have been cool to see it on the big
funny
screen.
because all of the retro movies that they were showing were all owned by Disney in some form or fashion. So Star Wars, like Hocus Pocus movie, like
So
Nightmare
maybe
Before
Disney was the only one
Christmas.
who was actually pushing the movies.
Maybe, or that, or just Disney owns everything. So
Well, I remember because Jack and I worked for Warner Brothers. Man, that was a while. That's probably almost 20 years ago. No, it is. It is 20 years.
22 years.
Well, for you, because you left before I did. I stayed until the end. But
So yeah.
I remember back when we worked for Warner Brothers, Disney was our rival. Remember? Time Warner and Disney were the two big dogs, but I think Disney has probably blown them away by
Disney
now.
had a better way of maintaining Disney stores than we did for Warner Brothers stores.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Warner Brothers was like, yeah, we had our own stores, but there was really nothing special
Yeah.
that you couldn't go to like Walmart and
Yeah.
get. Whereas Disney has it where, you have to go to a Disney store for this
Yeah,
exclusive.
yep,
or
they have a
this
lot of
thing.
exclusives.
So that's how they do it. And that's why they own 80% of Hollywood now. I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, because I remember when we first started working for Warner Brothers, I remember they told us all that Time Warner owned. Like they owned HBO, they owned New Line Cinema, they owned People Magazine, and they had a huge thing. Then I think their biggest mistake was when they took on AOL. We worked for them when they took on AOL. They were trying to branch off into the whole internet thing, but AOL was on its way down the tubes when they took it over, so they just took on dead weight. And then they also took on Turner at the same time, too,
and then that's
which was a smart move. They got MGM and
but
all
that's what my understanding was the end of the Warner Brothers stores, because when Ted Turner had the majority shares, he's like, well, the first thing I want to do is close these stores. He was like,
but then they wound up getting him off the board.
Right.
They voted him off the board even though he owned the majority of the company. So he owned the majority, but he had no voice because he's an interesting character to begin with as far as, want to talk about political correctness. Yeah, he kind of says what he wants to say, but I guess when you have that kind of power, you can.
But yeah, when we talk about like the movie theaters and like how they're shut down right now and everything else, and it's like that's just it. The streaming service is going to be the way. I think that it's going to be forever. Like even when we get out of this, whatever we're going through right now, whatever you want to call it, I don't think movie theaters are going to make a comeback. I really don't.
Well, I think people are realizing that, hey, I can just sit at home, and we've done it. I mean, sometimes we'll be sitting there, oh, this new movie came out, let's get it. And you pay like, whatever. It's cheaper than a ticket. Now, of course, for some movies like Empire Strikes Back and stuff, it's the experience too.
Right,
Sitting in front of a big screen.
And I think that's it. I think if you're going to do that, it's going to have to be some of the retro movies. And now it's like, look, you can get a 75-inch television for under $1,000, so you can put your own theater in, which is what he's going to do soon.
Yeah, yeah. Which, if you've been following my channel, you've probably seen in my new house. We have that third floor where eventually we're going to put a movie theater up there. So we have either a 10 or 12-foot screen, some movie theater seating. But that's going to be more if you want that experience where you want to actually be on a big screen. But I mean, sitting right here, what is that screen over there? What's that?
65.
65. Yeah, I mean, and you can get them so cheap. We just got a 55 for because of Jennifer's discount. It came out to like under $200.
Yeah. You can't beat that.
I mean, I remember back in the day when we worked at Warner Brothers Best Buy across the street.
Right.
We walked into Best Buy when the plasma TVs were out. They were $12,000 for a 50-inch.
Yeah, or the old ones where you had to get like the whole big.
Yeah. You knocked over Linus. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's gotten to the point. It's gotten to the point now. Like we remember when it was like, oh man, you got a TV in your room, man, that's great.
Yeah, it was like a 13-inch CRT.
Now, I mean, I've got 55-inch
one in every
TV in my room, and I've got one under the stairs because I got no place for it right now.
Yeah,
it's like
you can get them so cheap, and it doesn't even pay to fix them anymore. Because if they break, it's cheaper just to buy a new one.
Yeah, and it's funny you say I just threw one out. A Samsung 55-inch, a 40-inch TV, and I was like, I could buy the part and fix it.
You could buy a new one for probably $10 cheaper.
Right. It's like it was like I just set it out. If somebody takes it, good on them. But where else can I do it? Like I said, I've already got one I'm not using.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to technology stuff, it's like everything has improved so much, and the cost has gone down significantly.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think that as crappy as this year has been for a lot of things, I think it's also political stuff outside. It has also brought to light a lot of stuff that I think people are realizing, oh, I don't need Walmart to be 24 hours. Oh, I don't need to go.
Which is funny you said that, because a lot of them I don't think are anymore.
No, they're not.
At 11 or something.
They're not going to be. I don't think they're going to be like, hey, look. I mean, look, and for anybody in anything that's in business, if you're finally, for lack of a better term, conditioning people to not be used to that, then you're also reducing how much money you're paying.
Exactly.
And
because
that's crappy. It's just the way it is.
Well, and it's like, look, if you're a business owner, it makes sense not to be either paying the taxes on that property, renting that facility, or even if you own that facility, the cost for the energy bills, the water bills, and all that. When you can just have an online center like Amazon has, you have employees that are just pulling orders and shipping it out. I know with at least all of my Christmas shopping for the last few years, 99% of it I probably just do online because I don't need to deal with all the crap out in the stores, all the crowds, the crazy driving.
Right.
Stuff is delivered right to your house. Sometimes you get it cheaper online, so there's really no reason to stress yourself out.
And then like a lot of what I saw too this year is because of people not being at work, what have you. You go to the store, they don't even have anything. It's like they don't have it anyway, so just order.
And you got to order it anyway and do a site to store or something.
Right. So just have it shipped to your house. Most people have free shipping, and it doesn't cost any more, so why not?
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how 2021 shakes out with all this
the
stuff.
Interesting person about to get into the White House that doesn't even know his name. So we'll see what happens with that one.
Oh, God.
Oh well, that's where places like this, hiding out in Jack's basement, or going into my garage and hiding somewhere under the hood of a car, you can escape the reality of the nonsense of stupidity.
Just in case we need it, I have a tinfoil hat over there. We can put it on to block out the signals. And whatever we get. So, but yeah, it's sure. So,
Did you want to put it on for the audience, or?
Is that way you can see it?
Wow. So it looks like you're ready to face 2021.
Yep, I'm ready to face 2021, and
Any problems that come up, you're ready.
I'm ready. And then, you know, just in case everything goes haywire and I have to blend in with all the other clowns, I can put this on.
Hey, you could probably run for president with that.
Yeah, and then, you know, when it really gets down to it, we got this.
There you go.
Alrighty. I
Just jamming out here a little bit on this Behringer amp that I actually picked up a while back. I did a product review on it. If you want to check it out, you can check it out via the link above. Highly recommended. This thing is actually pretty powerful, has some cool presets on it. Nice and compact if you want to just kind of jam around and travel around with it. I have a big cabinet at home, but obviously that's too big to lug around, so definitely a cool amp if you're into jamming out and stuff like that. Highly recommended. Check out the link. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up this time here hanging out, just shooting this first episode of The Underground, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it entertaining. Please send any questions, any comments. We would love to hear from you. Jack, anything you want to say before we close out?
Nope, just thanks for joining us. We look forward to doing more of these and having additional content and things for you to love and enjoy.
Yep, and if you want to see any other videos with Jack on some of the car videos, he's brought some vehicles from where he works. You can check out the link above from the latest one we did, which was a Dodge Challenger, right? Mm-hmm. Dodge Challenger Scat Pack Edition. He came and brought it to Dover, Delaware, and we did that there. You can check that out. But as always, I appreciate all the support. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time here on The Underground.
See ya.
Yeah, and I mean, you're helping a local guy,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you can walk away with the thing right there and be done with it.
Yeah.